Hello, welcome to Pub Football, the FA Cup final special. There's a very happy Gooner here and me. FA Cup final today. Arsenal beating Chelsea 2-1, a Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang double, cancelling out Christian Pulisic's opener. And I have to say, as a Tottenham fan, before the game, I was saying to people, if there was a way that neither team could win, it would make me happy because I didn't want either side to win up in Arsenal and Chelsea. But as the game progressed and as it went on and as we got towards the end, I just thought, anyone but Arsenal. Really, anyone but Arsenal. So, of course, Arsenal took the win. Great win for Arteta's boys, though.
It was, yeah. We have a very, very good recent history in the FA Cup, which keeps continuing. It was a slow start, wasn't it? Obviously, Pulisic scored early doors, and it probably took to the first sort of drinks break to kick into gear. But, once we scored, and obviously Chelsea had a couple of issues with injuries and a really disputable sending off. We kind of just got there and got over the line again, which is fantastic.
You do have to feel somewhat that it was just Arsenal's day. The luck was in Arsenal's side. Like you mentioned, the two injuries for Chelsea, they weren't impact injuries. They're just muscle injuries, which are awful. You wonder about Chelsea's training going into the game, that two players pulled up with hamstring injuries. Also, the sending off. It was, you've just felt like, after that sending off, I just sort of thought, it's Arsenal's day. Everything is going in their favour. Not to say that Arsenal didn't play well. I'm not taking anything away from the Arsenal performance. Sometimes this is what happens in football. The performance is coupled with a little bit of luck that you need, and that's what wins your trophies.
Yeah, agreed. As you say, Chelsea's injuries were very, very unfortunate. Also puts them on the back foot for next year, doesn't it? Because it's a quick turnaround as well.
League, I know, the Champions League, I know they're 3-0 down against Bayern, but they've got that in about 5 days.
Yeah, and I just felt Chelsea got a little bit kind of complacent slightly, maybe, thinking 1-0 up, we should be the better side here, we should win this game. And to be fair, we grew into it, and we've got the best striker on the planet at the moment, to be honest, who's banging in the goals.
I'm not gonna. I disagree wholeheartedly that he's the best. What I will say,
he's the best finisher.
Even then, Lewandowski's better than him, and I'm going to say Harry Kane's better than him still. But he's a goal scorer, and I will put my hands up. I've said previously on here that I don't necessarily rate him because I think that his all-round game, he can be a bit quiet and go. I felt like he could go missing in the big games and even freeze up in key moments. I remember penalty misses in North London derbies and going missing against some of the big teams. But I have to say, FA Cup semi-final, FA Cup final goals, 2 very good goals, and his second goal, incredibly well taken, calm under pressure for the penalty as well. Maybe I'll put my hands up and say I was wrong. Maybe the captain's armband has improved him and given him that responsibility. But Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is a very, very good striker.
Oh, you said that so begrudgingly as well there, didn't you? The thing he can't do is lift a trophy properly, which is quite funny to watch.
Right, that was great. You take it off the base. It's like he's never watched He's seen the FA Cup lifted before.
No, there's the entire team behind him just going, pick it up. Just pick it up. Don't take the whole thing with you. It's just like, what's he doing? But yeah, it's brilliant. And that summed it up, really, didn't it? But it'd be interesting to see what happens in the summer. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go?
Yes, that was going to be my next point. I'd be very, very worried if I was an Arsenal fan, just because of his post-match comments when he was interviewed by the BBC. And they said they finished it, as they always do, because they can never let you just revel in your win by saying, next season you're going to be here, there's lots of speculation. And he just said, this isn't what this is about, lifting the trophy, won't comment on that now. There's no definitive, yes, I'm staying. It was a we'll see, and they will sees beyond saying goodbye, like Hazard did at the end of the Europa League last season, tend to mean I'm open to a move if someone comes in for me.
Yeah, and he's had, as you say, he's had a great couple of games in the last couple of weeks, and it's just pushed his maybe not his price, just his attraction, really, isn't it? And as teams like City, United, maybe, I don't know. There's teams who would go, do you know what? We'll take him for a couple of years and we'll give him what he wants money-wise, and he'll cause carnage.
Well, the problem is he's old, so he's after the big money.
He is.
he's, he was already 27, 28 when he came to Arsenal. You weren't getting a 21-year-old. He's in his 30s. Apparently, the rumours coming out over the last sort of 12 hours are that he tried to manufacture a move to Chelsea in January, but they wouldn't pay his wages, which is going to be the sticking point for him, I think.
Yeah, he wants a 3-year deal for about 250k a week. He's just not going to get that, unfortunately. And I get he's been the top goal scorer for Arsenal, nearly the league for the last couple of years, but you're not worth that, unfortunately. I know what he's doing, but he's got to be more realistic than that. And I think if it was me, if we got the right money for him, I'd probably let him go.
As for Chelsea, do you think Lampard got his tactics wrong, or, like we said, unlucky with the red card, a couple of injuries? You can't coach for Azpilicueta. Well, I mean, I guess you can, actually, because that high line with Aubameyang versus Azpilicueta is always going to go into Aubameyang's favour. Was Rudiger or Zuma too slow to get round to cover to give him some help? I don't feel like Azpilicueta needed to keep his arms on him. I felt like outside the box he'd slowed him down. So just before he goes down, could he have just let go and thought, I've slowed him down enough. He's on his left foot. Can we maybe try and get around now? But it was definitely a penalty. Just because the foul side outside the box doesn't stop it from being a penalty.
I think he got his team selection fairly right. I was quite pleased to see Giroud up there. As you say, we're not the biggest fans of Abraham at the moment. And I think it's just the unluckiness of injuries to, especially Pulisic, who's playing incredibly well at the time. I really don't rate Zuma. I think he's a bit like a crane turning when he tries to move. But yeah, I think apart from that, I think it's just a little bit maybe complacency, and I think we took full advantage of it.
What happened to Fikayo Tomori? So good at the start of the season, and he's not had a look in for 6 months.
Yeah, I assume he must have been injured at some point, surely. But as you say, Christensen keeps coming in, and Zuma's playing, and Rudiger's always there. So it's interesting because, as you say, he's great at the start of the year.
Now, you mentioned Tammy Abraham, because just before we started filming, we were having a bit of a chat about him. I do not necessarily get the hype around Abraham. Now, he scored a few goals earlier in the season. He had a purple patch, and he was playing relatively well, but his all-round game for me lets him down. And Chelsea fans will jump on me here and say he's great, he's a fantastic young player. For me, Giroud's better, and I would be starting Giroud all day. I think the way that he brings other players into play, the little flick for Pulisic, just those subtleties about his game, is he's not just a cumbersome big man up front. He's great on the ball. His little flicks and touches are fantastic. He's actually not as slow as he looks either. When he gets going, he's relatively mobile. Abraham doesn't hold the ball up well. He came on, and I just felt like, I don't know why, I just felt like it was the wrong move. I felt like at the time, having Giroud there to get on the end of things and to hold the ball up and bring others into play probably would have worked, because Abraham's hold-up play, it wasn't going to the right man. He was flicking it onto no one. He wasn't holding it up well. It was epitomised by one moment when they had a throw-in Chelsea had a throw-in in their own half. They threw it to him, and instead of taking it on his chest and looking to someone to play, he tried to flick the header on and just flicked it out of play. And as much as Chelsea fans should be excited about next season, I don't think that that's a starting lineup that involves Tammy Abraham. I think if it's not Giroud, it'll be Timo Werner up top. With if Havertz comes on one side, Pulisic on the other, with the midfield three of Mount, Kovacic, and either Jorginho or Kante. I'd rather play Kante. Can't believe he was left on the bench for 90 minutes in an FA Cup final. But for me, Abraham, I'm just not sure about him. I'm just not sure.
Yeah, I agree. As you say, I think Giroud, especially in his Arsenal days, I thought he was such an underrated footballer because of what he brings to the team. It is the flicks, it's the hold-up play, it's what he does. I mean, he might not score the goals. He's like a better Emil Heskey. He's just better.
He doesn't not. He still scores a fair few. Like he's not.
He does, yeah, and he's just so underrated. He's a great player, and yeah, as you say, Abraham's been really poor. And I think another player who I think might have a bit of an issue next year might be Mason Mount, because if they bring in the players they're speaking about, I think Havertz can play deeper. I think he's a better player than Mount. I think there's a chance he might kind of get out of the side slightly next year.
I'm not sure. I thought Mount was Chelsea's most dangerous player throughout, apart from Pulisic.
What, yesterday?
Apart from Pulisic.
Really? I thought he was really poor.
I don't. I just think he looks to get on the ball and he's positive, and I think I think he's a good player. Now, I still think he's behind Maddison and Grealish, but because of the amount he's playing and that he's playing it in one of the big six sides, he'll get looked at for England quite a bit, and that's why he's got the most caps out of the three of them as well. But I think there'll be a lot of opportunities. You're looking. I'd be more worried if I was Barkley or Ruben Loftus-Cheek.
Big time.
Mount's already ahead of them in the pecking order, and looks a better player. So they're the players I'd be more worried about. But I understand what you're saying. If he can progress,
I think
first year in the Premier League, if he can progress and he's a young player, then they could use all three of them, all four of them, and they could become a very dangerous attacking Arsenal.
Yeah, as you say, it depends where you play Ziyech, where you play Havertz. I think Kai Havertz is spot on for that, just deep lying, just behind the striker role, really. But as you say, Mount will play a lot of football, but Tammy Abraham is awful at the moment.
Just to go back, Tammy Abraham's not doing very well. Good way for Arsenal to finish the season. They also knocked Spurs into the qualifiers for the Europa League.
You've got to qualify now, brilliant.
Spurs' season will probably start in a week or 2 weeks, and especially as players like Dele Alli are in Spain, they're going to have to quarantine. They'll probably still be in quarantine when we play the Europa League qualifiers. So that'll be a happy moment for Arsenal fans. It's some silverware to semi-entice some of the bigger names to stay, plus Europa League football, which wasn't going to happen. So again, entice some of those bigger names to stay. Say, yeah, but we're in the Europa League. We're aiming for the Champions League next season. It's something to build on. I still think they're a long way off, but if it is the thing that entices a couple of very good young players through the door that will surprise people next season, you never know. You never know.
Yeah, I think apart from the first game after lockdown against City, where it was absolutely awful, I think we've been really, really decent. And so I think we've finally got a settled formation, settled squad, identity of football, and it seems to be working at the moment. And as you say, we're miles off, but if we can get the right players through the door, get the right players out, and hopefully have a bit more money coming in from getting that European football now, we might do all right next year. I think the hope would be to compete for the top four, maybe just miss out and then go again next year or the year after. Bless you.
As for Chelsea, we need to remember that this season there were very low expectations. I know Pulisic came through the door and Kovacic, but they're supposed transfer bans. They weren't bringing loads of players in like maybe they would have liked. Lampard was expected by a lot of Chelsea fans to finish 10th and not make a dent in many of the competitions. They're still technically in the Champions League. They got to the FA Cup final. They finished in the top four. There is a lot to build on, and I think that it's the end, disappointing end, but the end of what has been a very good season.
Yeah, I agree. He's had a fantastic season, has he? If every Chelsea fan would have bit your hand off the Champions League football at the end of the year, and
the players
he's managed to do it. Yeah, exactly. And it's been nice to see the young players, Gilmour, Tomori, Abraham, Mount. It's been great to see them all come through. I hope he doesn't go out and spend big. I hope he kind of builds on what he's done so far. Keep giving some of those players game time because they're going to keep improving. We'll see what happens. If we can get Havertz through the door as well, that's a fantastic signing. They look pretty good for next year, Chelsea, actually.
Right, so that was Pub Football with Miles and Jimmy, the FA Cup final special. We're going to keep doing these as there's only, 4 or 5 weeks till football starts. So if there's a topic you want us to talk about, because they'll be slightly different, leave it in the comments, send us a message. You can please subscribe and like and set the alerts on this YouTube channel, on the videos. You can go to Instagram to follow us at pub_football. Let us know what you want us to talk about. But for now, one thing left to say at the conclusion of the 2019-20 English season. For some reason, Scotland has started early. I don't understand why. There's no point. Just start when it's meant to start anyway. We'll get past all of that. Cheers.
Cheers.